Hi guys. So I've just given you an essay. Well, it's really just 2 paragraphs of an essay that I've started. I didn't want to go over a whole essay with you right now. That would take a long time, and I want to make sure you understand. So this is one that I wrote about my oldest daughter, Abby, and I wrote it last year with her permission. And so I want to go over it with you, and this is an assignment. So let's go ahead and put our name on the assignment, and we're going to highlight it and we're going to annotate it. And what that means is that we're going to make some notes on it about some things that I did, because as you write your hero essay, you can use some of these ideas because there's a structure. But some people are like, oh, it's too formulaic, and there is a formula, but there's a lot of freedom in that formula, and so I use some of that in this essay. Now, this is not the world's best essay. I haven't spent hours and hours working on it, but my hair is doing funny things back there. But at least it gets you started on some ideas that you could use to creatively write your essay, because your first draft is due this Friday, and I cannot wait to see it. Remember, your first draft has to be typed. Now, before I jump to this essay, I want to review what needs to be done for today. So here is the outline, and the outline is due today, Monday. And every single thing on here, we highlighted it last week, and everything needs to be on in a complete sentence. And what I notice is some people, when they do the pinks, they'll say, when this person did this, when this person did that, and those aren't sentences. So something I want you to be really, really mindful. So as you finish your outline, you are going to quietly come up to me and show it to me one at a time. So I'm gonna be circulating, but I'm pretty much going to find a seat somewhere in the classroom where there's a seat, and this is your invitation to come show me your outline. And if you want to do that right now, you can pause this video and then come back to it. So I have my outline here. I have my marker pens here, so make sure you have your marker pens. I also have my fancy pencil, but it's not because you won't be able to read it. So I have myself all situated here. And so using kind of the same formula we did here, this will kind of go through how we highlight my first 2 paragraphs of my Abby essay. So my name's on my paper, and that first sentence I tried to use a strong statement. So if you're looking at yours, I said, my whole life I've always wanted to be a mom. So that's my attention grabber. It's a strong statement. It's truth too. So what I'm going to do is just that sentence that says, my whole life I've always wanted to be a mom. I'm going to highlight that orange. So this is orange if you can't see the color very well. So that's how I'm getting the reader's attention. I'm saying, this is my longest dream I've ever had. And hopefully the reader will want to keep going on about, what does that mean? So that's kind of my idea. And then I go on and I say, I knew it would be arduous. So I originally had the word difficult, and then I wanted to make it just a little bit a fancier word, a better word. So I went to the thesaurus and I looked up synonyms for difficult, and I found a bunch. Arduous. So I took arduous. So I knew it would be arduous, but it really has been my dream since I was young. When I was growing up, lots of girls dreamed of their wedding, but I always dreamed about my children. The wedding part wasn't really important to me. And as I became an adult, my wish to be a mom never faded. Sometimes I wish I could rewrite parts of my children's lives, but these painful experiences make each of my daughters strong. So that entire section I wrote there, because next it should be reasons. Reasons, details, or facts. And it's not. What I did between my attention grabber and then my 3 reasons is I just sort of set the stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil, and I'm going to put a box around that entire part, and I'll show you in just a sec. Oopsie, my box looks bad. Your box will look good because you're using my example. So this entire part where I start with the I knew it would be arduous, all the way down to makes each of my daughters strong. This is all what I call just general background information. I'm setting the stage. So I'm going to write a little note, and I want you to as well. Set stage, background info. And if I ever go too fast in this video, you know you can pause, right? Just hopefully you aren't pausing at a point where I look absolutely ridiculous. So all of that doesn't need to be highlighted. It's just setting the stage, kind of like crafting you to that first reason. Now notice my 3 RDFs are next, and I do not have transition words because you don't want to say first, blah, 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 second, blah, blah, blah. That's too structured. That's too boring for the reader. And I also don't say who my hero is until my thesis statement. So that's another sophistication you might want to add to your hero essay. So the next sentence says, her first year of life revealed itself as awe-inspiring as it teemed with dangers and uncertainty. So I use the thesaurus. Once I developed that, I started to polish it up a bit. And that's my first reason, is her first year of life was hard. And I just can't believe that that she survived, to be truthful. So that whole sentence, her first year of life revealed itself, that's my first reason. That's going to be what my second paragraph is all about. And the next sentence says, she's one of the most tenacious people I know. Tenacious is like stubborn, or when they dig their heels in, they're in, or, you know, just those people that just, you are not going to convince them any other way. So that's my second reason, detail, or fact. So that'll be my third paragraph, but we're not going to get to that today. So I've just highlighted that one yellow. So I have my first 2 reasons. And then I say, I love her sense of wonder and thirst for knowledge. So that's going to be my third reason, detail, or fact, which will be what the whole 4th paragraph is about. Okay? Now, this I wrote last year, and we wrote this essay, and we were doing a different sentence pattern. So this is a pattern 3 sentence. Yours is a pattern 2 sentence. So yours starts with a preposition. And I didn't want to change mine because we will be doing a pattern 3 sentence before you know it. Actually next week. So I'm going to leave it because I think it will make sense too as we keep talking about it as well. So thesis statements are what your whole essay is about. And my whole essay is about my oldest girl, Abby. So I grabbed the blue for thesis statement. That's what we did. And I'm going to highlight it blue. I want you to do the same. So even though I love and admire both of my daughters very much, which is true, my oldest daughter, Abby, is my hero for a myriad of reasons. Myriad is a fancy word for lots or many. So there we have my first paragraph. And yes, not every sentence is highlighted because I used some artistry and I crafted some background information there. Okay, so that's my first paragraph. Now, I use some transition words, and those are purple. So this is purple. So to begin, so my whole first paragraph is about her first year of life is as awe-inspiring because it was dangerous. So basically what I'm saying, and I'm using different words for my topic sentence, is that I say Abby had a difficult infancy. I mean, that's putting it very mildly. So this is where I'm going to start with green. So purple is the transition word to begin. And then this paragraph is all about the difficult infancy. It started hard, but it got better. I think it got better. I'm not the world's best mom. So I start with purple, then green. Okay? Now, if we go along with this, because this is helping guide me, this is guiding me through it, I have 3 reasons in here. Okay? And you can add artistry. Now, the artistry in paragraphs 2 will probably be with your elaboration. So I want you to kind of focus more on that rather than set the stage before you give me your first reason. So it starts with when my daughter was left. So it's the first reason, detail, or fact. So it says, on a cold morning in late October, she was left outside in a downpour to be found by anyone passing by. So my first reason or detail or fact about her difficult infancy is that she was left, and it was October, and it was raining really, really hard. And she was left on purpose. So that's yellow. So I've gone purple to green to yellow. So that's my first reason, fact. Okay? Now I'm going to elaborate, and elaborate's pink. So here's my pink. I hope this looks pink. So wrapped only in a man's jacket, my baby girl was found by a consumer going into a store. So that's pink. And it's all about her being left outside. So that one is pink. And you have to have at least 2 pinks. So she was very, very young, only days old when this occurred. So that's, again, talking about that day that she was left. And then we go, the police eventually took her to her first home, an orphanage. So that is all about that time when she was left. So here I have pink, and I think there's just 2 pinks. Looks like it. No, that's 3 pinks. Now we go to the next sentence. The doctor examined her and was surprised to see her 2 sweet dimples on her cheeks. So this is still about the day she was left. So it's still pink. So now I have a little more pink. Remember, you can pause. Then we go on. The physician had great hopes for Abby, and the physician was the doctor. She named her something usually only the nannies in the orphanage would do. So all that is pink, and it's all about the day that my sweet baby girl was left. She was left to be found. In Chinese, if you translate that word, it was left to be found. Okay? So all of that is pink, talking about that day. Now, 10 months later, this is kind of like a subtle transition that this is my second reason, right? 10 months later, my husband and I stood in a hotel lobby in southern China on a 120-degree afternoon. Do you know how hot 120 is when it's really, really muggy? This Pacific Northwestern woman did not like it at all. Anyway, a 120-degree afternoon, anxiously waiting to meet Abby. So this is my second difficult thing for my girl's infancy. So I'm highlighting that yellow. So we have the 10 months later sentence right there. So I have reason 1, difficult infancy. And number 2 was about when she met her parents. Poor kid. So then I'm going to elaborate about this day we met her. It was 120 degrees. It was August 3rd. It was, whew. So as she was carried into the lobby, I got pink. As she was carried into the lobby by the same doctor who had examined and named her on that cold, wet fall day, terror clearly gripped Abby because everything she saw and heard was different, especially us, her new parents. That whole long sentence, which we'll get into sentence variety here later this week. This is pink. This is all about that day that we met her. Boy, she was scared. Whew, whew. That baby was scared. Sorry, something's outside the window. So that's all pink about that day we met her. On the verge of tears, she tightly clenched her fists and held herself very stiff and still. So that's still about the day we met her. So that's still pink. Okay? And then we talk about while we were still in China completing her adoption, we would always hold her when she slept, and every time she woke up, she would eagerly look back and forth from my husband and back to me. So this is not about the day we met her. This is about, because we had to be in China for like at least 14 days. So my third reason, detail, fact is about how every time she went to sleep and woke up and saw us, something started happening. So this is my yellow. And I give you the while we were still in China kind of to transition you to my next reason, detail, or fact about her very difficult infancy. So I have, that one is my yellow. It's subtle, but the idea is that I take you through these 3 ideas, and it's not these 3 reasons, and it's not choppy, because I want you to kind of read it like a story. And I think that's what makes an essay fun to write, and I think that's what makes an essay fun to read. And remember, it's all about me. Just teasing. It's about your hero. Here we go. And then she would start to relax. So that's a pink about every time she would go to sleep, and she would open her eyes, and she would look back and forth from my husband to I. The crib was right between us. In China, when you stay in a hotel, you get single beds. Did you know that? Have you ever been to China? Yeah. Anyways, 2 single beds. So it was very Brady Bunch-like. So the next one, she would relax, pink. And then talking about her fingers, with just about how she just started relaxing. Her fingers would loosen, and she started to play with stacking cups and babble. Did you play with stacking cups when you were little? She loved those. There was like 5 of them, but I think in China I only took about 3. And they just stacked inside each other, and she would take them and she would bonk, bonk. And we were in a hotel room, and I'm trying to keep the baby quiet, but it was cool. And then she started babbling, and then blowing spit bubbles. I bet you did that too. And then slowly a smile crept on her face, then giggles filled our hotel room. So that's what I have for that paragraph. And I could go on and on, because the girl, her first words were quack. So, you know, she'd been in China for 10 months. And I don't think many 10-month-old babies have a lot of language, but she definitely had quack. And it almost sounded like, because she also would take her feet and put them in her mouth because she could. And it sounded like she would say quack, 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 but it sounded like Aflac. So we thought that was pretty funny too. Anyway, so here are my first 2 paragraphs. Now, paragraph 3 and 4 are going to be structured very, very similar here as well. So just kind of give you some ideas. So remember, outline, I need to look at it first, and then you're going to go to the Google Classroom, and I want you to find the assignment. It should be pretty easy. You're going to open up a Google Doc. You're going to let me be able to see it. So I don't know how to do that right now, so I'll have to figure that out during period 1, 2. I should be able to see it, and then I'll be circulating and talking to you and looking over your shoulder as best I can. I hope I have the right glasses. And then we'll get this going, and it'll be so fun and so cool to read it. So I hope things are going well. I hope you're excited to keep working on this essay. And if you ever can share it with that person that's your hero, it's probably the nicest thing you could do. Okay, see you in a sec.